Muy buenas tardes a todos los que pues nos estén viendo en esta ocasión. Muchísimas gracias por conectarse, por tener interés en estudiar en Estados Unidos. El día de hoy pues estamos debutando con esta sesión donde vamos a presentarles opciones muy interesantes para que ustedes puedan tomar cursos en Estados Unidos cortos y ya vamos a ver, tenemos tres invitados diferentes de tres instituciones que les van a explicar un poquito sobre cómo es el proceso, qué pueden estudiar y las posibilidades de poder quedarse un poquito más en Estados Unidos para que puedan trabajar también. Saben que pues nosotros somos de Gate Education y nosotros estamos aquí para apoyarles en todo su proceso de aplicación y de admisión a las instituciones. Están con nosotros el día de hoy David Arango, de Global Study Partners, que es un aliado estratégico para nosotros, donde también pues nos va a apoyar ahorita David si nos quieres platicar un poquito sobre los colleges. Y posteriormente vamos a tener a nuestros invitados de tres diferentes colleges, les los iremos presentando para que les platiquen. Bueno, por obvias razones, ellos van a hacer su presentación en inglés. Nosotros ahorita estamos presentándonos en español, sin embargo, nuestros invitados van a hacer su presentación en inglés. Entonces, David, si quieres darnos una breve introducción y
Claro,
después nos
Ale.
vamos con Paolo.
Claro que sí. Bueno, pues muchísimas gracias en primer lugar a ti y a Pau por esta invitación tan especial y por permitirnos ser parte de esta sesión en donde vamos a enfocarnos en los community colleges en Estados Unidos. Una opción muy interesante porque le permite a nuestros estudiantes no solamente llevar a cabo sus programas de idioma, bien sea de reforzamiento, de perfeccionamiento o de estudio formal y de larga duración, sino que también estos colleges le permiten a los estudiantes desarrollar programas que son cortos, pero que los pueden llevar potencialmente hacia una licenciatura e incluso hacia una maestría. Una de las grandes ventajas, los costos. Costos muy ajustados, costos que realmente están súper alineados con las necesidades de nuestros estudiantes en México y desde luego que les van a permitir acceder a esta educación de clase mundial porque los invitados que tenemos esta noche son de lujo. Tres community colleges maravillosos ubicados en diferentes estados de los Estados Unidos, todos con múltiples programas, incluyendo idiomas, programas de licenciatura asociada, que es algo que no se conoce mucho, pero ya nos van a explicar de qué se trata, o associate degrees. Y definitivamente, pues todo este tema de los pathways. Así que esta opción, esta nueva alternativa de estudios en Estados Unidos, es una opción que me gusta muchísimo porque nos genera eficiencias en costo, nos genera eficiencias en tiempo y va a permitir que los estudiantes adquieran ese conocimiento que al final del día les va a permitir que egresar a la fuerza laboral. Y ese es el objetivo más importante para que puedan empezar a poner en práctica todo eso que aprendieron en una de estas instituciones increíbles que vamos a tener a continuación. Así que, bueno, con esta pequeña introducción le doy paso a Paolo de Menlo College para que nos cuente todo sobre su institución y los programas que ofrece.
Gracias, David. Right, Paolo. You have the word. So if you want to share your screen.
All right, sounds good. I'll go right to it. Okay. So, hi everyone. My name is Paulo. I'm the International Business Counselor here at Menlo College. So, just a quick spiel about Menlo College. We are a private four-year college. That means we offer degrees in business psychology, bachelor's degree. We are located in Atherton, California. So we are right in the heart of Silicon Valley. For those of you who don't know, that's the tech capital of the world. Um, I myself was a Menlo alum. So I went to Menlo College as a student from 2019 to 2021. I was a transfer student, so I went to Menlo for 2 years. And after graduating for my bachelor's degree, I went ahead and worked here full time. So I do have some insight of Menlo College, not just from a staff perspective, but also from a student's perspective. All right, let's go ahead and go through the slides. I'm going to go ahead and skip this video because sometimes there's a lot of issues whenever there's recording, but I'll be glad to talk everything about what they talked about here in the video. So, all right. As I said before, We are located in Atherton, California, so NorCal. So I like to think of California as two parts. We have Northern California, Southern California. We're located right up north. We are close to San Francisco, California. We are about a 40-minute drive down south of San Francisco. And as you can see, we are surrounded by the major tech companies, Fortune 500 companies. And I'm pretty sure most of you are aware of these. Most of you are aware of these companies. We have Google, Meta, Apple, Netflix, SAP, Adobe. And this map that you see, this is within a 50-mile diameter. So it's pretty it's in close proximity to most of these companies. Now, this is actually one of the reasons why most students either go to our college or transfer to our college because of the location, because there's such an abundance of companies here. That means most of the opportunities here in California there's a lot more opportunities compared to other states, I would say. Especially if you go to the Midwest, compared to a place like California or the entire West side of America, there's a lot more opportunities. That's why we see so many students. Sometimes even in the East Coast, a lot of students come to our or transfer to our college just to have a better experience and to get more opportunities. At Menlo, you will fit in. Why? Because we have a strong number of international students. In fact, 23% of our students are international, which is very unusual compared to most schools, because most schools, they have 5%, 10%, but us, it's 23%. And that 23% that I'm talking about only includes the regular students. That does not include the student athletes. If you include student athletes, I don't have a specific number. We're talking about 30 to 40%. So high number of international students. And also California is Spanish speak one of the it's a Spanish speaking state. So there's a lot of people here that speak Spanish. In fact, I want to say probably close to 40 to 50% of students on campus can speak Spanish, because we have students from Mexico. We have students who are here locally, who are Latinos or Latinas, and we also have international students from South and North America. We are a small campus. On average, our campus size every year is right around 800 students. We have an average of 14-to-1 student to faculty ratio. That means for every 14 students, there's one professor, and we have 40+ student organizations on campus. Here are different majors and programs: accounting, business analytics, entrepreneurship, finance, international management, marketing, psychology, real estate, and sports management. We also have a couple of minors: accounting, business analytics, equity and justice studies, political science, business development, and sports management. Now, me, as a former international student, I do know which majors I would recommend to international students, especially if you're a student who plans on staying here long term. A lot of our students who are accounting and finance graduates, we have noticed that those students who major in those fields actually have the highest chance of being able to work here in the United States long term. And also a lot more opportunities, easier job placement compared to most majors. Now let's talk about internships. This is probably one of the most important points that I'm going to be talking about in this presentation, because what do we go to college for? Of course, to get a career, to get a job. And that's what we can help out. So here at Menlo, we require students to get a mandatory internship program. That means after their junior year, they are required to go through an internship. Now, the good thing about the internship is we have a dedicated career services team that helps students secure a job off campus. So they help students in writing a resume, they help them in mock interviews, writing a cover letter, and overall just job search strategies. And also, what makes our internship program special is because in the summer, students are expected to take the internship, But while they're taking the internship, not only they're getting the experience, they're also getting a salary on top of the internship, and they're also getting 6 class credits. Now, 6 class credits is equivalent to 2 classes. So basically in summer, you're working, you're getting the experience, you're getting the salary, and also you're fulfilling 2 classes. So it's like hitting 4 birds with 1 stone. Now we're one of the few schools who are able to do that for our students. We also have a couple of internship partners worldwide. Most common is the Big Four accounting firms. As I said before, all our accounting and finance graduates usually get internships in the Big Four accounting firms, such as KPMG, Deloitte, EY, or Pricewaterhouse. Most students, when they work in those companies, they decide to come back home and continue working for those companies because those companies are all over the globe. Asia, Middle East, Europe, they're all over the world. So that's just a quick rundown of our internship program. Again, very, very important. It's also good for students to look ahead before enrolling at a college. It's always a good idea to have some sort of idea what career you want to do. Although I would say majority of students don't know what to do. As freshman students, they kind of figure it out along the way. But as a counselor and, as a college that has a dedicated career services team, we'll be able to help out. Now, why pick Menlo? First, location. We are located in Silicon Valley. As I said, abundance of opportunities. Majority of the major tech companies are here. 23% of our students are international. We are voted as the safest campus in California, and we are AACSB accredited. Now, AACSB is the highest accreditation for colleges across the globe. And we're proud to be part of that organization. 90% of our students receive a job offer straight out of graduation. That gives you an idea of where students go. And then the 10% either start a business immediately or they go to grad school. And also, your credits are accepted. What does this mean? If you are enrolling at Menlo, if you're applying at Menlo and you have finished college credits, whether it's here in the US or outside the United States, if you have finished credits in college, then we would be glad to take some of your credits. That means you'll have less time to spend here at Menlo, so you can graduate faster. Since we are a private college, that's actually one of the perks of coming to a private college like Menlo is because we're very flexible. Some colleges in the US are very rigid. Even if you finish class credits outside the United States, there's a high likelihood that they're probably not going to accept those classes. But us, we're very flexible. We'd be glad to take your classes as long as you submit an evaluation. But that part we can talk about during the application. Now, admission requirements. Our admissions requirements is very simple and straightforward. First, since we are a private college, our application process is very personalized. That means once you submit an application, I will be talking to you personally, one-on-one. I will be communicating with you. I will be your main point of contact. That means I'll be collecting all the documents from you, everything you need. I'll be answering questions. There's no portal that you have to go to and wait to hear back. Once you submit an application, I'll contact you directly and assist you from the moment you send an application all the way till your arrival here on campus. I will be the main point of contact. Now, I like to think of the application as a two-step or a two-stage process. Now, the first process is to first get accepted at the college. Now, what do you need to submit in order to get accepted? 3 things. You need to submit an application form, which is free, which you can find on our website. You will need to submit a transcript. Unofficial is accepted. Excuse me. And you will need to submit an English proficiency test score. TOEFL, IELTS, or Duolingo, we accept those test scores, and they can be submitted directly to my email address. Okay, so what happens? Let's say you submit all these documents, you get accepted. What happens after that? After that, we will send your acceptance letter along with the scholarship package. Now our scholarship is dependent on a lot of factors. It depends whether you're a transfer student, financial need, your grades, and your overall fit at Menlo. So once you get accepted and you get your scholarship package, we will collect the following documents from you. So we're going to skip over some of these because I had in the other slide. After you get accepted, you will need to submit a passport page, certificate of finance, enrollment deposit, and a bank statement. Once we collect that, we will give you an I-20. It's a document proving that you are coming here as an international student. Now, once you receive your I-20, you will pay the CVIS fee to the US government. You'll schedule a visa interview, and you can book your ticket to California. So that's an oversimplification of how our application process works, but it's very straightforward, very easy. And again, like I said, we're a private college, and I'll be assisting you throughout your application from the moment you submit your application until your arrival. All right, that's pretty much it for my presentation. Thank you everyone for listening, and I'll pass it over to Paulina.
Oh, thank you. I have a few questions that I think it might collide with what Evan is gonna share with us, but still it's I wanted to go through them. Like you talked about, you have a 23% of the students are international students. The mix, it goes higher in some ethnicities, or it's like very diverse?
It's very diverse. However, I want to say around 60 to 70% of our international students come from 6 countries.
Okay.
So 60 to 70% comes from China, Japan, Italy, France, Germany, and Spain.
Good.
So
Okay.
60% of our students come from those countries. And then the 40% comes from whichever countries.
Okay.
And to give you an idea, we are right now representing 43 different countries.
Lovely.
So that remaining 40% comes from like a
All
lot.
over the place.
Yeah.
But it's a good mix because we don't want them speaking Spanish for
Oh,
real. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
California, but it's like if they have a good mix, that means that they won't be speaking Spanish at campus. So that makes them okay. I'm curious about the accounting and finances, because usually those are not the subjects that, I mean, are highlighted or in any other college that we have talked with so far, or university. So it got my attention, like what might be, I mean, working for the ones that you said, KPMG, or what was the other one? Accenture
Deloitte,
or Deloitte,
Pricewaterhouse.
yes. I mean, we all have we have those in Mexico, and yeah, when you work for them, you can work all over the world. But it caught my attention. What is about those areas that makes Mellon College like stand out? Because it caught my attention.
I want to say it's more of a culture because first off, we're very close to those companies. They're within like a 20-mile radius.
Yeah, yeah.
Versus the location, but also the culture. Since we've had a lot of alums from those companies, it only makes sense for those students to come back here on campus. And as we all know, usually the reality is the best way to get jobs is through referrals.
Yes.
And since there's so many alums in those companies, it only makes sense that the upcoming graduates message those alums on LinkedIn, or sometimes just networking when they come back here. So it's more of a culture. It's more of the alumni relationship that makes students a lot easier to get into those companies.
Oh, okay, great. The application process you went through it, the internship application, because if I remember correctly, it's awarded or you have to apply or gain the internship. Is that correct? Or every student can do the internship or has to?
It's actually required. They're actually
Okay.
required. Well, they say it's required, but technically it's sort of not, but we highly recommend it.
All right. Yeah.
So before they hit their junior year, they will be They will need to go through the career services team, and the career services team will have them register for the internship class in the summer, and then they will also help them land a job on campus. Oh, sorry, land a job off campus. So that's pretty much how it works. It's not necessarily a hard requirement, but it's something that we direct students to.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
it's
if the students really does not want to get an internship, then they can take 2 elective classes. But of course, nobody goes that route, because why take 2 classes when you can fulfill those classes, get the experience, and make money on the side?
and get connections. I mean,
Yeah.
work experience in your curriculum. It is. So IELTS and TOEFL. Do you have? I guess the scores gotta be different for each program, or do you have a base? Like it has to be 6, or it has to be 79. Like, do you have a minimum for both of them?
Yeah, we do. So for IELTS, it's 6. I can show the link for passing scores. For IELTS, it's 6.5. For
Okay.
Duolingo, it's 101, and for TOEFL, it's 74.
74.
Now, if a student does not meet those requirements, we can still accept them under the condition that they join our intensive English program. Our intensive English program is our ESL program.
Uh-huh.
If a student cannot meet those requirements, they still want to go to Menlo, then they will need to go through the intensive English program.
Oh, that's pretty good. Okay, and last but not least, I got confused between finance certificate and bank statement.
Okay.
What's the difference between those two?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
what's the difference?
So, yeah, certificate of finance is a document coming from our school
Ah,
that
okay.
will need to be signed by the sponsor. It's basically showing who's going to be paying for the student's cost of attendance.
Okay, got
And then
it.
the bank
Perfect.
statement is the actual proof of funds.
Okay, lovely. Thank you so much, Paulo.
Thank you.
Now,
Thank you, guys. Yeah. Pau,
yeah.
you want to introduce Chicago from San Mateo? Hi. Hello, Chicago.
Hi.
How are you?
Hi, how are you? I'm sorry I was late. For some reason, I just got the link, but I'm glad that you guys are still here.
No
Thank you so much
worries.
for the
Just waiting for you.
invitation.
Arrived just right in time.
Perfect, perfect.
Great. So I'm handing over the microphone to you. If you want to share a slide presentation or you have a video, please feel free to do so.
Yeah,
So now we
sure.
have, yes, Chicago talking to us about San Mateo College.
Okay, perfect. So let me go to my slides. Let me just get one moment. Right here. And go share. And we'll do the share sound just in case. Okay, present. Can everybody see my slides?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So I don't know if Ivan has presented about his colleges already, but okay, good.
Not yet. We
not
went,
yet.
yeah, we
Okay.
went in order of alphabetical order.
Okay, perfect. Great. Thank you. Thank you. So I represent San Mateo Colleges of Silicon Valley. So as this name represents, we are not just one school. We have 3 schools in our system, and we are community colleges. So I'm gonna, talk about what community colleges are. But basically, it's a 2 years institution, but it provides many opportunities for international students. So in our colleges, we have 3 fully accredited 2-year institutions, starting with Canada College. It's good that you guys, all speak Spanish, right? So, we get a whole confusion about Canada College being Canada College, but it's a Spanish word for Canyon, I believe. So we do have Canada College here in California, and the College of San Mateo, and Skyline College. And we are actually also very close to Menlo College. How, Paulo? Okay, I don't know, for the sake of the time, I might skip the video, and if we have the time, I will come back to it. I'm not sure how much time we have, but I was told 10 minutes. So if we have the time, I will come back to the video.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. So I usually always start my presentation with this US map because America is huge and sometimes students has no idea where we are. So this is a map of the United States, and we are located in the state of California, this big state right here in the West Coast side, very close to Mexico, actually. So maybe even some of you have been to California already. I think we only have like 1 hour time difference as well. So
Correct.
very easy access from Mexico. It's a very big state. I am originally from Japan, and the state of California is actually bigger than Japan. So that's how big it is. So in California, this is a close-up map of California. We are located close to San Francisco, which is like the second biggest city in California, largest city being Los Angeles, which is down here, and San Diego is right here. And this is like a closer map of San Francisco Bay Area. So this entire area is called San Francisco Bay Area, or sometimes referred to as Silicon Valley. Maybe Paulo has spoken a little bit about his college's location, but we are very conveniently located. So our 3 colleges are in the heart of San Francisco Bay Area and Silicon Valley, very close to the international airport, which is a huge benefit for our international students. We are close to San Francisco and San Jose. So if students enjoy city life, it's very accessible. And also, I'd like to highlight that this area is known as Silicon Valley, which is basically where we have all these high-tech giant companies are located. So you probably recognize, most, if not all of those company logos, right? So those companies are actually in our backyard. We have YouTube very close to Skyline College. Genentech is also very close to Skyline. We have a faculty member who actually works at Pixar come and teach our students about animation. So this kind of presents an opportunity for our students because just physically being here, our students are exposed to those high-tech giant companies' employment opportunities. There are lots of startup companies in this area too. So I always want to highlight that when I do the presentation. And also students interested in going to a 4-year university, this is a great area too, because in this area, we have many, many great universities, including Menlo. So as you can see in this map, we have a couple of UC campuses, starting with UC Berkeley, UC Davis, UC Santa Cruz, CSU campuses, another California State University system, which includes San Francisco State University, San Jose State University, and many great private institutions as well. I mentioned Menlo, but we also have Stanford nearby, University of San Francisco, and others. And here are some more highlights of our colleges. So we'd like to call ourselves number 1 or top university transfer because we have many transfer agreements with 4-year university. And over the next couple minutes or so, I will talk more about this transfer opportunity because this concept is very unique to the United States. So that's definitely one of our highlights. Again, location is a key when you, search universities, and we have great locations for international students. We have more than 50 institutional scholarships. So this is something that students can apply every year, but they must be enrolled in one of our colleges in order to apply. Our campuses are beautiful. Again, if I have a chance, I will play the video at the end of my presentation, so you can experience how beautiful our campuses are. And we also have a one-on-one academic advising for international students, which is a great benefit for international students because our counselors are specifically trained to work with international students. They're not just the general counselors. So they understand the unique needs of our international students. We have early class registration for international students, so the students do not have to miss out on classes and make sure that they can complete their programs on time. We have housing support in the form of homestay program. So we have our own in-house homestay program that can provide safe and comfortable housing for international students. And lastly, I'd like to mention that our communities are extremely safe. You probably hear a lot of scary stories about, whatever it is in America. But and it depends. It depends on where you are in the United States. But luckily, our county is considered very safe, and we have a very low crime rate. So those are the programs that are available at our colleges. So first, I'm going to talk about the transfer opportunities, which is also known as 2+2. As community colleges, we also have 2-year associate degree programs, of course. We also offer some short program, which is known as certificate programs. So this is getting more popular with international students as well. And we have the distance education program called Global Online Learning Program. But before I dive into the transfer program, here is the money. Of course, everybody needs to know about how much it would cost for the education. And this kind of leads into the benefit of doing the transfer program because as you can kind of see in this graph, the tuition costs for community colleges are much less than what it would cost at 4-year universities. So this is just kind of like an example, but for us, it's about 10,000 US dollars for 1 year. We are semester school, so you have 2 semesters, 2 academic semesters in a year, and it will be about 10,000 for 1 year's tuition at our colleges. But if you are to attend a 4-year university, even public university, their tuition is almost double and sometimes triple or much more, right? So definitely community colleges are more affordable option for international students. So this chart kind of describes how transfer works. So basically in the United States, after graduating from high school, students have 2 options to pursue their bachelor's degree, right? And this is why it's, why the American higher education system is so unique. So of course, you have an option to go straight into a 4-year university. You apply, you enroll at a 4-year university, spend 4 to 5 years to get your bachelor's degree. But you have another option, which is to attend a community college for the first 2 years of your bachelor's degree. So basically your freshman year and sophomore year, you take your classes at a community college. And then after the 2 years, you transfer to a 4-year university of your choice for just 2 more years, not for just 2. So this system is called 2+2 or transfer. And at the end, you will get the same bachelor's degree. It is exactly the same. On your diploma, nowhere it says, oh, by the way, this student was a transfer student. No. So it's the same result, but less money, because if you recall on my previous slide, the tuition at community colleges are just a fraction of what it would cost here at a 4-year university. So after you transfer, you do have to pay that big tuition, but at least by attending community college for the first 2 years, you can save a lot of money for your studies. And a few other things I would like to talk about, regarding the benefits of attending community college include the 2 OPT opportunities. So OPT is an optional practical training, and it's essentially a work opportunity for international students. So in the United States, the government states that the students can apply for this work permit after they complete their studies, each educational level. So what that means is that if the students choose to go through the 2+2 pathway, and if they, decides to pick up an associate degree, before entering a university, after the 2 years, they can do their first OPT up to 1 year. And if they want to pursue their bachelor's degree, they can then transfer to a 4-year university, but just for 2 more years. And then after they complete their bachelor's degree, they can do additional OPT. And this time it can be 1 to 3 years, because if you're in the STEM field, which is science, technology, engineering, and math, you can actually extend your OPT period. So multiple OPT is another benefit of doing 2+2. And, maybe just one more things to highlight about this community college pathway is that it provides international students with easier transition. Because community colleges are much smaller than 4-year university, generally speaking. And 4 years university, many of them are big. It depends. Some of the liberal arts colleges are smaller, but community colleges definitely ensures a smaller classroom size for all of its students, and provides more support, because community colleges are meant to provide open access to any student, regardless of international or local students, with higher education opportunity, right? So we take any students who wants to pursue their higher education experience, and we make sure they're getting enough support. So our classroom size is very small. It's usually it's about 20 students per class, and our instructors, they do not have the research obligation, so they can give their 100% to teach their class and work with their students. So there are a lot more support for international students at community colleges. And here are some transfer opportunities for our students. So as I mentioned in the previous slide, we can consider as top in terms of university transfer opportunities, because we have many transfer partners for our students. So we are not just talking about California. If the student wants to, go on study in a different state, we have a lot of partners in other states in the United States. And we also have a lot of international university partners as well. So we currently have a transfer partner in France, transfer partner in Canada, and the transfer partner in UK, and we have a few pending. Some of the transfer success stories. So this slide showcase our transfer students, our students transfer to 4-year universities with scholarships. So this is also something that we encourage our students to explore. Many universities offer scholarships, and sometimes students are limited to look at public universities only, because they think private institutions are just so expensive they can't afford it. But as you can see on this slide, all of these are private institutions, and they tend to have more scholarship opportunities for international students. So, we work very closely with our students. This is why we have international designated international student counselors. They are very knowledgeable about our partner universities, and those students successfully transfer to their dream school with a very generous scholarship. But that being said, since we are in California, UCs are the popular destination and CSUs. So this just kind of illustrates the success stories of our students transferring to prestigious UC schools and some very competitive CSUs too. Just very quickly about associate degree program, we have more than 90 associate degree program, and it takes about 2 years to complete an associate degree program. And again, students will become eligible to apply for OPT after completion of associate degree. Some of the unique programs that we offer, interior design, fashion design, very popular. Animation, again, we have a professor who works at Pixar, come and teach our students, architecture, film, and so forth. So certificate program is another popular program for international students. It's a shorter program, typically about 1 year, but again, students can apply for OPT after completing this short program. Some OPT success stories. You can see students are gaining employment with the tech giants near us. We have online program available in case you want to stay home and take our classes online. We have that option available, and it's exactly the same classes that we offer to our students here, international, local. Some student services on campus. So we have a lot of free resources available to our students. So talking about the counseling services, free tutoring, free grocery, free shuttle, a lot of good services for our students. Our admissions requirements are less rigorous than four-year universities. So this is another benefit of starting at a community college. We just have English requirement, high school graduation requirement, and financial requirement. That's pretty much all it takes. There's no essay involved, no SAT, no high school GPA. And as you can also see, our English proficiency requirement is lower than typical four-year university would require. Application process, very simple as well. Create an online application, just a couple of steps, click to submit your application, and you're done. Since we're semester schools, we have 2 intakes in a year, fall and spring, and those are the application deadlines. Yeah, this is talking about the online program. It's the same requirement, pretty much the same process. And this is social media. I'm sorry, I think I took more than 10 minutes. Want to be mindful of our time. But this is our contact information here too. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out.
Great. Thank you so much, Chikako, for the information. Very, very interesting.
Thank you. Thank you.
Pau,
But I have a few
yes, you have
questions.
questions.
Sure.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Evan, don't
So-
worry about the time. We have time. So
Yeah, we
Okay,
have-
good, good.
Okay, so I saw a few differences between Melo and the colleges that you showed. So one of them you already tackled, which it was the OPT, regarding that they can apply 2 times. One, they
Yes.
finish the first 2 years, and then when they finish the other.
Mhm.
For the Global Online Learnings program, I didn't get to see the prices. The prices are the same as if
The
we
same,
were
yeah.
face to face.
Right. So
Right.
tuition-wise, it's the same rate. But obviously students can save on the housing and
Yeah,
living expenses and the related visa fees.
Absolutely. And some of them don't have a US visa. So that can
Correct.
be a leverage. Okay. Regarding the insurance, is it a yearly price or it's for the total program?
Yeah, so the insurance is so covered, the entire year, but we break into 2 in a year. So if the student is, so the fall insurance begins August 1st and expires on December 31st, but spring insurance begins immediately on January 1st and it ends on July 31st. So 2 insurance in a year, and the students are charged for the insurance twice in a year.
Okay,
sense?
but the price is per year. It's a okay.
Correct, yeah.
They have to renew it every year. Okay.
Yeah.
The
Mhm.
transit, you said something about the transit and I got confused. What is the transit support? Is it what you said around the campuses, or it's a transit something that I'm not
Oh,
getting?
free shuttle,
No,
transportation, or transfer center?
that one.
Transfer center. Okay, yeah. So as community colleges, several colleges, they probably have this as well. But community colleges are known as transfer institution too. So not just international students, a lot of our students, they have a goal of transferring to a four-year university. So just to
Okay.
support the educational goal, we have like this dedicated office for transfer services. So what they do is that they connect the student with the transfer resources. They are the one who are connected with four-year universities representatives. So a lot of the time, representatives from four-year university comes and meet with a student. They do host transfer fairs on campus where students can collect more information about the four-year university. And they also have transfer counselors. So those counselors are specifically trained for the transfer process. So students can, work with the transfer counselors to submit the transfer applications or research transfer universities, or they also work with the students on the essay too.
Perfect.
Mhm.
I'm almost there. Like the two first years are known as the minor, and the latter two are the major.
Correct. Yeah, that's how the US higher education system is kind of structured. So even if you go to a four-year university, the first 2 years, you're going to be focusing on general education courses, or what we call a lower division courses. So those are maybe like major courses, but like the basic courses. And it is the last 2 years where students really kind of focus on the high level major courses called
Perfect.
upper division courses. Yeah.
Great. Lovely. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for the questions.
Lovely. So Evan, you're next. Thank you for waiting.
Yeah,
No
thanks for
problem.
Bear with
waiting.
me.
Well,
No
Chicago did a lot
show.
of the hard work for me. She explained community colleges, so that makes my life easy. So thanks.
Of
Good
course.
to
Yeah,
see
you
you.
can now expand.
Now I can expand. That's right. I'm going to pull up a PowerPoint here that I'd like to share. And let's just get started. Okay. Hola todo el mundo. Me llamo Evan Franulovich. Soy director asociado del Departamento de Marketing de Programas Internacionales y aquí Seattle Colleges. I do speak a little Spanish, so forgive my mistakes. I'll do my best. Bienvenidos al Pacific Northwest, a la ciudad de Seattle. We are the one school in this presentation that is not from California. So welcome to the state of Washington. We are here in the northwest corner, al noroeste de los Estados Unidos, solamente 200 kilómetros de la frontera canadiense. So it's very beautiful, but many people believe that it's cold in Washington, but that is not true. Seattle does have more rain than San Francisco area, but not as much as you would think. So it's next to the water, so we are very temperate, and we actually get less rain than many of the major cities in the United States. So it's a little surprising, but it is colder than most parts of Mexico. Okay, vivimos en una de las partes más hermosas de América. The Northwest is mountains and water. Tenemos 4,000 kilómetros de playas. We have tres parques nacionales alrededor de la ciudad. Mount Rainier National Park, North Cascades, and the Olympic National Park. So there are over 1,000 community colleges like San Mateo, like Seattle Colleges, and they all offer very similar programs. majors, things to study, very similar programs. But then you have to ask yourself, all right, I like the idea. I like the idea of a community college because it's less expensive. I can do 2 years with smaller class sizes, ease into the United States education system, then transfer. So then you have to ask yourself, what kind of an environment do I want to live in? And in Seattle, we are the only community college in the city of Seattle. There are many schools in the area that will tell you they're from Seattle, but no es la verdad. It's not true. We are the only community college in the city of Seattle. We're surrounded by mountains and coastline. It's very beautiful. And como en San Francisco y San Jose, we somos una ciudad de las más emprendedoras. Many businesses here in Seattle, just like in San Francisco. We don't have Apple, but we have this little company called Microsoft. We have companies like Amazon.com and Starbucks coffee. Who doesn't want a cup of Starbucks coffee? Seattle is also known for its aerospace industry. We have over 400 companies in the aerospace industry, to include Boeing. So if you're interested in aerospace engineering or airframe and power plant, we are a great place to come to study. But we also have many other types, health services, food and hospitality. We have outdoor companies. So it's a great entrepreneurial city to be in. Now, I've already told you we're the only community college in Seattle, but we also have, this is a little old, we have over 1,000 international students enrolled at this time, and that number is growing thanks to COVID now being under control. The students are coming back. We have over 1,000 international students, and they're from 80 different countries. We have many students from Mexico, Brazil, Colombia, Guatemala, Nicaragua, Venezuela, Argentina, Chile. We have students from all over Latin America, Jamaica, Bahamas. We are the #1 school in this area for transfers to the University of Washington, which is a nationally ranked research institution in the city. They have 3 campuses like we do, and you have a transfer option to go to the University of Washington. We have been helping international students for over 25 years. So we have a lot of experience to help you with your journey. We have, like San Mateo, over 130 different programs to choose from, or as far as majors go, but our top 5 most popular are engineering, computer science, of course. We have health sciences is very popular, hospitality, and business. As I said, we have 3 campuses to choose from if you decide that Seattle is the place you want to be, and I hope that is the case. We have 3 with separate personalities. Our north and south campuses, very tranquil, a little more traditional campuses, but our Seattle Central campus is downtown in the heart of the city. There is music and coffee shops and many people walking around. It's very exciting. So you have to ask yourself, what kind of environment will I thrive in? And then choose one of those campuses. I want to go through this somewhat quickly. We, like San Mateo, offer university transfer. You do your first 2 years with us, then you transfer to another university. Just the same way that it works there. So I won't explain it too much, but I will concentrate on this piece here. It's called the High School Completion Program. In the state of Washington, you can come to Seattle colleges, do your first 2 years of university, even if you haven't graduated high school. In fact, as long as you are 16 years of age by the first day of classes, and you have finished your first year of high school in your home country, You can save the tuition money you're paying for high school in your country, bring it to Seattle, and pay for your university work. At the end of 2 years, you receive a diploma, your associate's degree from Seattle colleges, but also a high school diploma from the state of Washington. So save your money and your time, finish your high school program here. We have many students that come to the United States for this program, come to Washington. I just welcomed a girl from India, for example. She just turned 16. Her mother flew to the United States with her, dropped her off in Seattle, flew back to India, and now she is pursuing a biochemistry degree with us here at Seattle Colleges. It's an amazing program. I wish I had had this available to me. It's a great way to save time and money. We also have career training programs. We are a community college, so there are vocational technical programs available. I won't go through them all, but our most popular at our South Seattle College, we have a aviation maintenance program where you learn to fix airplanes. Our hospitality, culinary arts programs are very popular with international students. Any of our health services like nursing, very popular. Many of our art programs like web design or visual arts, those are very popular as well. Now, I was recently in Mexico, in San Luis Potosi and Pachuca, and I spoke with many students there. And many students told me that they had already started university in Mexico and they wanted to finish there, but they wanted to come to the United States to study at some point. If you are one of those students, we offer what's called an IP short-term certificate. You can come to Seattle Colleges for 3, 6, 9, or 12 months and study in one of 5 areas. If you study for at least 9 or 12 months, you can work for up to 1 year doing OPT, like Chicago explained. You can do 1 year of OPT. So if you already have your bachelor's degree from Mexico or are going to get it soon, and you want to come here to get more experience, say with business or computers or communications, you can do 9 or 12 months and then work for a year. It's an amazing program. I want to give you an example. You can listen to my podcast. I interviewed a girl from Veracruz. She got her bachelor's degree in Veracruz, came to Seattle, did a 1-year short-term certificate in business, graduated, got hired at Microsoft for her OPT. She discovered that she needed to know more about computers, came back to Seattle Colleges to do a second short-term certificate in computer science. Then they hired her on full-time, and her husband, who is from Argentina, now are full-time employees at Microsoft. So it's quite a success story. Lastly, if your English is not very good, don't worry. We have an Institute of English. You'll need to provide English proficiency scores to us, like you do at the other schools. If your scores are lower than are needed for direct college placement, it's okay. We have our Institute of English at our central campus, and you can take English there. We have 5 levels, and you just make your way from wherever they decide you want to start and to get you to college ready. Of course, the big question, ¿cuánto cuesta? Es muy importante, ¿no? College Bridge and the 2+2 programs, we're right around $11,000 in tuition. With fees, it comes to just under $13,000. And if you add things like food, transportation, an apartment, maybe a cup of coffee at Starbucks once in a while, our tuition and fees come to about $27,000. So on your financial statement, which I'll show in a minute, you have to show $26,700 for your financial statement. Intensive English, if you come just for our language school, it's a little bit less money, but it's pretty close to the same. Oh, and, let me go back. Tenemos becas y permitimos que los estudiantes trabajen at Seattle Colleges. You have the opportunity to apply for a few different scholarships. One is the Foundation Scholarship. Half of all students that apply for it get it. It averages between $3,500 and $4,500. You can apply every year for it and get it multiple times. We also have Phi Theta Kappa, which offers scholarships, I think up to $1,500. We have our own in-house scholarship that is being offered soon. And we let our students work up to 20 hours a week, but generally it averages between, say, 10 and 15. And in Seattle, we pay our students over $20 per hour. So if you do the math and you work consistently, you can more than pay for most of your tuition and your fees just by working. Of course, you have to find a job, and that's up to you. There are many reasons to start at a community college, whether it's our college or San Mateo or somewhere back east. I want to encourage you to apply for a community college to do your first 2 years or from one of the other programs. Why? Because I am a graduate of a community college. I was in the military. When I graduated from the military, I was already in my 20s. I had already started a family. I needed my education. So it was cheaper. It was easier to get in, smaller class sizes, flexible. I could work and take care of my child. And then I did my first 2 years at Seattle colleges, or not Seattle colleges, at a community college in Texas. Then I transferred to the University of Arizona, where I got my bachelor's degree. And then I got accepted to law school, and I went to law school in Oregon. And later I got my master's degree in education. So many parents believe that community colleges aren't real university work. They're just kind of for people who can't really do the work. That is absolutely not true. Community colleges are a smart choice, a great investment. We have NASA astronauts who have gone to community colleges. We have politicians who started at community colleges. And I am an example of someone who started a family, went to community colleges, and did big things. So please consider us in your educational plans. Online application, $50 application fee, showing us your finances, just about $27,000, passport, proof of English proficiency, just like the other two schools, like Menlo and San Mateo. We take Duolingo, we do IELTS, we do, there's a whole list on our website. We have 4 quarters, unlike San Mateo's semesters, we do 4 quarters. And you can start any of those quarters with some very specific exceptions. But if you graduate from Brazil, for example, in December, you can start in the winter. But any of those times are great. And those are here. Here's our QR code. But before I go, I want to beg you, I want to invite you to please check out my podcast. I do a podcast every Wednesday. I am on the end of season 2, getting ready to start season 3. It's free information. I interview students and staff. I interview other universities. So Paolo, when you're here, we should do an interview. I like to talk about the transfer process. I like students to understand it. I created the podcast so that no matter which school you choose, I hope it'll be Seattle colleges, but if you go to San Mateo or you go to Texas, the information in this show is good for you. We talk about the visa process. We talk about what it's like to be in the United States. What are the culture shocks? Those kinds of things. But there's a lot of information on this show that is fun to listen to. You can do it while you're working out. These 4 podcasts on this page, all are students from your region. The girl I talked about earlier from Veracruz is Priscilla Flores. I encourage you to listen to that episode. It's really great. But also Sofia Bruscado of Brazil, Andrea Gonzalez de España, y Jolene Modi of Belize. These are all great episodes for you to listen to. I just published a new one today with a student from Cameroon. So this is how you can reach me. This is my WhatsApp. I invite you to add me on WhatsApp. Chicago, Paolo, you should definitely add me on WhatsApp. Stay in touch with me. Everyone there at Gate Education, you should actually add me. Stay in touch, listen to the show. I'm happy to answer questions, even if they don't relate to Seattle colleges. I just like helping people find the best place for them to get their education. I'm looking forward to seeing you on our campus. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Evan. That
Thank you
was,
so much, Evan.
yes, very
No.
illustrative. I loved it.
Thanks for the time. I really
A lot of
appreciate the
energy.
On
opportunity.
the
Coming up.
contrary,
I
I do
drink-
have,
I drink a lot of coffee, so.
it's
Cheers.
good. Well, I believe we all do. So yeah, here, cheers too. I do have a question, and maybe that is for the three of you, regarding the 2+2 programs.
Mhm.
What would be the difference between doing that and the transfer? Like, is it the same, or how does it work? Because I understand that, for example, if someone does the 2+2, the admission process, that's for once, the admission process into a university would be easier than doing a direct entry for a 4-year university. That's one. And then the other one, if they do a 4-year in the college, what would be the difference or the advantage for students?
You
I
wanna
don't know.
take
I
that,
don't know
Chicago?
who wants to take that.
Well, one thing I will say before anything else, I'd like Chicago to chime in on this. And then actually Paolo, he's at a 4-year school. He can talk about the transfer process, which is awesome. But I want parents to understand, you'll have people tell you, don't apply to a community college because you'll never get a visa. That is absolute nonsense. We have over 1,000 international students in our school. I don't know, I can't remember how many San Mateo has, but the United States has a lot of international students at community colleges. You can get a visa and then start your education with us. Over 2 years' time, you're saving a ton of money, then transfer to a school like Menlo or University of Oregon, UCLA, wherever it is you decide you want to go, and save all that money. Do you want to talk about that transfer process, either one of you guys?
Yeah, I was just gonna add on to that. So the 2+2 program is pretty much different based from school to school, because a 2+2 program is usually created when two colleges, one university, one community college, comes to an agreement, and that agreement can differ from school to school. To give an example, one of the most common is a guaranteed acceptance. So some students like our contract with Foothill De Anza, if they go through the 2+2 program, then they will get a conditional acceptance letter while they're attending De Anza. We also have a couple of 2+2 agreements where if a student finishes an associate's degree at their community college, then guaranteed they only need to take 60 credits here at Menlo. Because sometimes, depending on which school, if the student transfers before they get their associates, sometimes they might need to take 70, 80, 90 units, depending on how many credits are going to get transferred. But for us, with most of our MOUs, as long as you finish your associate's degree, guaranteed you only need to take 60 credits here. But again, as I said, it depends on the contract set from two institutions.
Yeah, and I can just kind of piggyback on what Paulo just said. It's important that you research and understand what kind of transfer agreement that community college that you are looking at has with 4-year universities. And many community colleges, by the way, they do have transfer agreements. For example, we do have a transfer agreement with Menlo College. And what this agreement does is first to guarantee admission to our students as long as our student completes the required 2 years at our colleges. And they do give us a conditional admission letter right at the start of their community college. So when they get accepted to our colleges, they also automatically get conditional admission letter from Menlo College if they indicate that they are interested in transferring to a Menlo College. Also, some transfer agreement promises scholarships to the students too. Menlo does that too. So Menlo actually provides this very general scholarships to our transfer students because that's part of the agreement. So it's important to research the transfer agreement opportunities at community colleges. And it is also true that transfer students in general, they do have a higher admission rate to four-year universities because, you know, if you study at a community college for 2 years and then transfer to a four-year university. Remember we talked about, like Evan and I talked about this easier transition into the four-year university. Our students are ready to begin a four-year university, take on a bigger challenge, right? So, we really prepare our students to be ready to begin their studies at a four-year university level. So definitely I would say, generally speaking, transfer students have a much higher admission rate to four-year universities.
Can I just add one more thing to this? Because I want to be clear. There are, and without getting into too much detail, there are DTAs, there are TAG, there are different types of transfer agreements. But truth is, you can come to, say, Seattle colleges and you can transfer, you can apply anywhere. Now you have to get accepted, and there may not be guaranteed. The nice thing about transfer agreements is that there's something in place that says if you go here first and then come here, your credits will transfer. But the truth is, you can actually go anywhere. And I'll give you an example. So you can start at Seattle colleges and then transfer down the street to the University of Washington Seattle campus. Now there are 3 campuses, one in Tacoma, one in Bothell. We have agreements with Bothell and Tacoma, but we do not have an agreement with Seattle. However, 80% of our graduates end up going to University of Washington, Seattle, because it's a ranked school and everybody wants to go there. But whether you go to Bothell or Tacoma or Seattle, you still get a diploma that says University of Washington on it. It doesn't say which campus you are on. It doesn't really matter. But the point is, you can transfer from us to them, even though we have absolutely no agreements with them. You just have to go through the application process. You have to get accepted, and it's very competitive, but like Chicago says, there is a pretty high acceptance rate. So it's very popular. That's just my 2 cents.
Thank you so much, Evan. I do have another question, but I'm not sure, Pau, if you also have.
Absolutely.
Regarding the working permits, like when students are in the campus, because Evan mentioned that students can work while in the campus.
Yeah.
Can you guys, Melo and San Mateo, do you have the same? Can students work in campus or not?
Yes, so this is actually international students regulation. In the regulation, it very specifically says international students are allowed to work on campus up to 20 hours per week. But depending on the school, they do not allow students to start working until like the 2nd semester or until the 3rd semester or quarter, because they want to make sure that the students are successful academically as well. My college, we do allow students to start working on campus up to 20 hours from the very first semester. But generally speaking, most of our students begin their on-campus job on their 2nd semester. And like Evan said, about 10 to 15 hours per week on average, which is a good amount. You don't want
that doesn't distract them from
much.
education.
Yes.
Great, thank you. And my last one. Regarding the scholarships that you mentioned, Evan, are those merit scholarships, or how can students expect to get one?
Sure. The ones that we have available are all merit scholarships that you have to apply for. Now, the foundation scholarship you can find on our website, and if someone contacts me, I can send them the link to it. But they can apply for it before they even come to the United States. The application window for it is in the winter. They have to write an essay. They have to provide 2 letters of reference. They have to show how they're involved in their community, those kinds of things. And then they're considered.
Extracurricular activities that might show for them character.
Yeah. So there's no guarantee that they'll get that scholarship, but like I said, half that do apply get it. So your odds are pretty high. Just an example, I have a girl that works for me in the marketing department, and she's applied for it both years. She's been here and she got it both times, and she got the maximum award of $5,000. It's a minimum of 500, maximum of 5,000, but the average is 3 to 4. But yeah, she got 5,000 both years, and she works, so she more than pays for all her tuition and fees.
Excellent. Great. Thank you. Thank you so much. That was my last one, Pau.
Okay, yeah, I have a few for Evan. The high school completion program. You said that the students can do the first year of high school here and then go the latter two with you guys. And I just want to know if I got it right. Like that means 11th and 12th year. That's right?
Yeah,
Okay.
so in the United States.
Yes. Well, I'm thinking in Mexico, like, Mexico, it's preparatoria, it's 3 years, which is pretty different than the States, but I'm trying to equalize. So the last 2 years that they can go and do with you, they come out with an associate degree that it will give them credits for the first 2 years of the the college. That's right?
Yeah. So just to clarify for the parents that are listening, because there's a lot of confusion between the word college and university.
Right.
I don't know about other parts of the world like the UK, Canada, or whatever, but in the United States, college and university, more or less, are used interchangeably. So if I say, hey, next year I'm going to college, I could be going to the University of Washington. Or if I say, hey, I'm going to go to university, I might be going to Menlo. A lot of people don't make a distinction. There are distinctions, but it's not worth talking about. I don't know if Paolo or Chicago agree with me, but when I talk about university or college, it's virtually the same thing.
All right. But so the latter 2 years of the last 2 years of the high school, they can come out with a associate degree and they will perfect.
Yep. And by the way, there's no extra exams, there's no special classes they have to take. They just pursue their first 2 years of university as normal. And at the end of those 2 years, they get their high school diploma and their associate's degree. So there's nothing extra. It's just still 2 + 2. It's not like they're doing 2 and then they have to do 3 or 4. And by the way, they don't have to do 2 years to get that high school diploma. They could just do their final year of high school with us within those 2 years and get their high school diploma as well. And it's not limited to people that are 18 and younger. If say you have a 24-year-old who never finished high school, but now they're motivated to go and get their high school diploma and study in the US. It's probably a rarity, but absolutely. We are, like San Mateo College's open enrollment. We want to level the playing field. That's one of the great things about community colleges.
Lovely.
Everyone's welcome.
The last one, it's related to the applications and enrollments, because you said you have 4 intakes, which is pretty good, actually. Just how far ahead of the enrollment do we need to start the application process? Because it got so confused for me.
No, that's a good question for all of us, actually. I think Paolo and Chicago should answer that as well. But for Seattle colleges, up to 15 months in advance of when they want to be here. So if you want to say, come to us as a 16-year-old to do high school completion, you could actually apply when you're 14 and a half years old if you wanted.
Okay.
I know that's unusual, but most people are coming here for their freshman and sophomore year of university work. So, they can be thinking about applying in the middle of their junior year of high school.
Yes.
If they're inclined. So yeah.
But I mean, in the like thinking, rushing things, because Mexico is Mexico, and not everybody thinks so far ahead. We don't. We Mexicans, we usually leave everything to the last minute. So yeah. So okay, 15 months, it's pretty good, which would be like 6 months. The least time of...
Oh, the least time. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, so you can actually, I think so like, for example, fall is coming. I I think our deadline is August 25th for classes starting at the
November.
end of September. So,
Okay, okay,
I
okay.
mean, I do not recommend that, by the way.
Yeah,
People,
exactly. Like,
if you're
no,
listening
we
out there,
neither do it. No, neither
don't do that.
No.
For one, every country is different. So maybe if you're serving students from outside of Mexico, like El Salvador, Guatemala, you know, maybe getting an appointment at the embassy takes a little bit longer. So I
Yeah.
recommend starting really early, people, if you can do that.
Okay.
And if you're, by the way, if you're a transfer student, if you come to the United States, start out in, say, Florida, and realize that the East Coast is not the best coast, and you want to come to the West Coast, come to our school as a transfer student, and it's a very short application time. So
All right.
sometimes we have agents who help students with the transfer process. So it's a much shorter window.
Okay. So we're talking about 15 to 9 months.
Yeah,
It's a good period of time for the students to start application and have everything smoothly.
right. Mexico
Right.
usually isn't a big deal, but yeah, you can get it done fast.
Okay.
For us, it's a little bit different since we're a private college. Our application process is a lot shorter.
Okay.
So you said, you know, in Mexico, everything is last minute. It's actually better for our school because the perfect sweet spot to apply is 6 months before classes start. Because usually we prioritize the upcoming semester. So if a student applies like way too early, we won't be able to prioritize the application. However, if the upcoming semester is, let's say, spring 25, and they apply 6 months before, then we'll be able to cater to them and process their application quickly. And also, we do not have a hard deadline on the application. We've had students apply 20 days before classes start, and we were able to get them here. The only concern is what Evan mentioned earlier is the visa interview. Sometimes it takes a while to schedule one. If they can't get the visa on time, then we will have to defer. But if they can, yeah, we can still take them. We've seen students who have done it in the past. So if they're coming from Mexico, it's a little bit easier to get a visa interview. So yeah. And also we only have 2 intakes, fall and spring.
Thank you, Paulo. Marta, you have a question, right?
I do. Thank you very much. Hi, all. And thanks for your time. Well, my questions, I'm sorry I couldn't arrive earlier, but well, I'm a college counselor and well, I have some questions related to our programs. We have 2 kinds of programs with different ones. The general one, the Mexican one, which is UNAM, and the other one, which is IB diploma. So what would you recommend? Well, I mean, are there any differences if we want to apply with the IB? How many are the points that we need, or well, the kids need to have for to start? Is it depending on the career? And the other one is it better, or what would you recommend? Is it better to apply with the general certificate or with the predictive, and how and what happens if the predictive are not the expected ones?
Can I take this? Because I love answering this question. The answer to your question is it really doesn't matter. And here's the reason why. Because at community colleges, we don't look at your grades. We don't look, you don't even have to have a high school diploma. Remember, you can come and do a high school completion with us. So we're not asking for, like Chicago said, we don't ask for an essay. We don't ask for grades. The only time we would ask to see like maybe high school transcripts is if they're under 18 and we just need to see them to make sure that they've done at least their first year of high school. But yeah, we don't need either one of those, which seems very, parents will be like, what do you mean you don't have to? They'll be very suspicious. It's just the way it is in the United States. Community colleges are like that. They're open enrollment. So entry is a lot more straightforward.
Okay. And what about the residences and everything? Do you guys help us to check the residences for the students, or is there like a special help for them to choose the right ones?
Are you talking about housing assistance?
Yes, housing
Yes,
assistance.
accommodation.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that depends on the colleges. Historically speaking and generally speaking, community colleges do not have on-campus housing,
Yes.
but today some of the community colleges do. So it's worthwhile looking into which community colleges may have on-campus housing if that is something that your student is looking at. But our colleges, we do have housing assistance for international students in the form of the homestay program. And through our partnership with actually Menlo College, we can also provide on-campus housing experience for our international students. But usually we do recommend students to start with the homestay program or maybe like this on-campus housing opportunity at Menlo College, because finding a housing, as you probably expect, is very challenging for any international students. So if they don't have any resources, we do encourage students to work with us on identifying housing at least for their first semesters or two.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. And
Okay.
it, for example, in Seattle that you have the housing, is it better then to apply before like the 15 months that you were saying, so you can have this housing, or is it okay if you apply the 9 months, you will still have the opportunity to have it?
So if you have if we have a student that's coming that's interested in living in the dorms in the student housing, we would put them in touch with our housing coordinator, and they would go through an application process. And the sooner the better, because we haven't had the housing filled up since COVID has hit. There's always been vacancy, but our numbers keep rising. So someday it's going to be full. So sooner than later. But like Chicago just said, homestay is a great way to start because you get a cultural and linguistic experience. Sometimes the families love you so much, they practically adopt you. I mean, it's really great. And then a lot of people do apartments or get together with other students, and they can do that from the time they start. I will say that San Francisco and Seattle are two of the really expensive cities in the West Coast as far as housing is concerned, which I'm really sad about, but we help our students as much as possible to find affordable solutions.
Thank you, Thomas.
Well, then I think that we have a very, very extent and very enlightening webinar. Thank you all for your time, for sharing what each of your colleges offer. I think we learned a lot today, and we'll be absolutely delighted to send to have students for you guys. And we really appreciate being here with us today. The Gay Education, it's, as you know, we dedicate to the students. Marta works in one of the highest rankings high schools in Mexico. So we are very, very interested in starting working and sending students, because as we learned today, it's not as hard as we thought it will be. There's plenty of opportunity for students to go to the United States and have a high quality education, and a lot of opportunities after that. So thank you for that.
And not as expensive as a university, so they can get a degree without paying so much.
Exactly.
Which is great.
Yeah, thank you so much for everything. Thank you for your time. If you guys want to smile to the camera, let's take a shot and say hi. Good. And we're already following your podcast, Evan, so we'll listen to it.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for your time. Sorry we got a little bit longer, but I think it was worth it.
Yeah, absolutely worth it. Thank you so much.
Yep. Thanks so
Thank
much.
you so much.
Have a great
Paula, we'll
night,
see you
everyone.
in October. Chicago, I'll see you on the road, I hope. I haven't seen you for a while.
Soon. I know. Hopefully soon.
Yeah. All right. We'll look for you.
Yes.
All right.
Thank
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.